Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
Pain that feels hot as if it were on fire. Execution by fire. A process in which a substance reacts with oxygen to give heat and light. Execution by electricity. The act of burning something. The burning of leaves was prohibited by a town ordinance. A form of torture in which cigarettes or cigars or other hot implements are used to burn the victim's skin. Of immediate import. Burning issues of the day. Pain that feels hot as if it were on fire. Undergo combustion. Maple wood burns well. Use up energy. Burn off calories through vigorous exercise. Get a sunburn by overexposure to the sun. Cause to undergo combustion. Burn garbage. Shine intensely, as if with heat. The candles were burning. A browning of the skin resulting from exposure to the rays of the sun. Cause to burn or combust. The sun burned off the fog. Cause a sharp or stinging pain or discomfort. The sun burned his face. Burn, sear, or freeze tissue, using a hot iron or electric current or a caustic agent. A place or area that has been burned, especially on a person's body. Create by duplicating data. Burn a CD. Destroy by fire. They burned the house and his diaries. An injury caused by exposure to heat or chemicals or radiation. Damage by burning with heat, fire, or radiation. The iron burnt a hole in my dress. Damage inflicted by fire. Execute by tying to a stake and setting alight. Witches were burned in Salem. Feel hot or painful. My eyes are burning. Feel strong emotion, especially anger or passion. She was burning with anger. Spend significant amounts of money. He has money to burn. Execution by fire. A process in which a substance reacts with oxygen to give heat and light. The act of burning something. A state of violent disturbance and excitement. Combustion grew until revolt was unavoidable. Execution by electricity. Killing by electric shock. Of great significance or value. Having authority or ascendancy or influence. An important official. Of great significance or value. Important people. Important in effect or meaning. Of extreme importance, vital to the resolution of a crisis. Having or suggesting a consciousness of high position. Recited the decree with an important air. Cause emotional anguish or make miserable. It pains me to see my children not being taught well in school. A symptom of some physical hurt or disorder. The patient developed severe pain and distension. Cause bodily suffering to and make sick or indisposed. Emotional distress. A fundamental feeling that people try to avoid. The pain of loneliness. A somatic sensation of acute discomfort. As the intensity increased, the sensation changed from tickle to pain. Something or someone that causes trouble. A source of unhappiness. A bothersome, annoying person. That kid is a terrible pain. A symptom of some physical hurt or disorder. Putting a condemned person to death. Putting a condemned person to death. Law. The completion of a legal instrument, such as a contract or deed, by signing it, and perhaps sealing and delivering it, so that it becomes legally binding and enforceable. The act of accomplishing some aim or executing some order. The act of performing. Of doing something successfully, using knowledge as distinguished from merely possessing it. A routine court order that attempts to enforce the judgment that has been granted to a plaintiff by authorizing a sheriff to carry it out. Unlawful premeditated killing of a human being by a human being. Computer science. The process of carrying out an instruction by a computer. Putting a condemned person to death. Putting a condemned person to death. The process of oxidizing. The addition of oxygen to a compound with a loss of electrons, always occurs accompanied by reduction. The process of oxidizing. The addition of oxygen to a compound with a loss of electrons, always occurs accompanied by reduction. The process of oxidizing. The addition of oxygen to a compound with a loss of electrons, always occurs accompanied by reduction. The act of changing the unity or wholeness of something. Subject to torture. The deliberate, systematic, or wanton infliction of physical or mental suffering by one or more persons in an attempt to force another person to yield information or to make a confession or for any other reason. Extreme mental distress. Torment emotionally or mentally. The act of distorting something so it seems to mean something it was not intended to mean. Unbearable physical pain. Intense feelings of suffering. Acute mental or physical pain. The deliberate, systematic, or wanton infliction of physical or mental suffering by one or more persons in an attempt to force another person to yield information or to make a confession or for any other reason. It required unnatural torturing to extract a confession. Extremely painful. The burning to death of heretics, as during the Spanish Inquisition. The combustion of fuel inside a cylinder, as in an internal combustion engine. Combustion that propagates through a gas or along the surface of an explosive at a rapid rate driven by the transfer of heat. Call forth emotions, feelings, and responses. Provide with fuel. Oil fires the furnace. Start firing a weapon. Go off or discharge. The gun fired. The process of combustion of inflammable materials producing heat and light and, often, smoke. Fire was one of our ancestors' first discoveries. Start or maintain a fire in. Fire the furnace. Feelings of great warmth and intensity. Become ignited. The furnace wouldn't fire. The act of firing weapons or artillery at an enemy. Hold your fire until you can see the whites of their eyes. Intense adverse criticism. Clinton directed his fire at the Republican Party. Terminate the employment of. Discharge from an office or position. The boss fired his secretary today. Cause to go off. Fire a gun. Destroy by fire. A fireplace in which a relatively small fire is burning. They sat by the fire and talked. A severe trial. He went through fire and damnation. Bake in a kiln so as to harden. Fire pottery. Drive out or away by or as if by fire. The soldiers were fired. Fuel that is burning and is used as a means for cooking. Put the kettle on the fire. Generate an electrical impulse. The neurons fired fast. Once thought to be one of 4 elements composing the universe, Empedocles. The event of something burning, often destructive. They lost everything in the fire. Shine with a sudden light. The process of combustion of inflammable materials producing heat and light and, often, smoke. Be in flames or aflame. The sky seemed to flame in the Hawaiian sunset. Criticize harshly, usually via an electronic medium. The person who posted an inflammatory message got flamed. Informal intensifiers. You flaming idiot. Very intense. Flaming passions. The process of combustion of inflammable materials producing heat and light and, often, smoke. Having abundant light or illumination. As long as the lighting was good. The act of setting something on fire. Apparatus for supplying artificial light effects for the stage or a film. The craft of providing artificial light. An interior decorator must understand lighting. The mechanism that ignites the fuel in an internal combustion engine. The act of setting something on fire. The process of initiating combustion or catching fire. The termination of someone's employment, leaving them free to depart. The act of firing weapons or artillery at an enemy. The act of discharging a gun. The act of setting something on fire. Malicious burning to destroy property. The British term for arson is fire-raising. Malicious burning to destroy property. The British term for arson is fire-raising. The state of being emotionally aroused and worked up. He tried to calm those who were in a state of extreme inflammation. Arousal to violent emotion. A response of body tissues to injury or irritation, characterized by pain and swelling and redness and heat. The act of setting something on fire.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.